Hey there, coin collectors and curious treasure hunters. Ever found a penny on the street and just tossed it aside? Well, hold up. What if I told you that one very specific penny from 2017 could be worth, wait for it, $1.60 million? Yep, you heard me right. A penny, $1.6 million. You might want to check your pockets now. I know what you're thinking. A penny? Really? That can't be right. Trust me, my friend, you're about to have your mind blown. So grab your magnifying glass and your best detective hat because we're diving deep into one of the most surprising and exciting finds in the coin world. Let's talk about the 2017 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny and why it could make you a millionaire, or at least $1.6 million richer if you're lucky. All right, let's start with the basics. We all know pennies, right? They're everywhere. In the couch cushions, the parking lot, stuck to the bottom of your laundry basket. But the 2017 D Lincoln penny? This one's not your average change. A rare error occurred during the minting process, making these pennies much more valuable than they should be. The D Mint mark, that little D stamped on the penny, usually tells you where the coin was made, in this case, the Denver Mint. But sometimes, something goes wrong in the process, and you end up with a coin that stands out from the rest. These 2017 D Lincoln pennies were struck with a double die error, which means the design was stamped twice, making the features appear extra bold and sometimes misaligned. But it's not just the error that's interesting. It's the rarity. Only a few of these coins have surfaced, and because they're so rare, the market value has skyrocketed. We're talking big bucks here. Here's where the fun begins. How do you know if that penny you found in your car's cup holder is worth $1.6 million? Don't worry. It's easier than you think. First, take a good look at the mint mark. Is it a D for Denver? Great. Next, check for the double die error. The telltale sign is a slightly blurry or doubled image, particularly in the lettering of Liberty or the year 2017. The key to spotting these rare pennies is that the second die impression is faint but visible. Now, you don't need to have a professional magnifying glass or a microscope to see it. Just a good eye, patience, and maybe a little luck on your side. Okay, let's address the big question. Why on earth is this little penny worth so much? Well, the value comes from the combination of rarity and the error in its production. It's the kind of thing that coin collectors drool over. Coins like this don't just get thrown into a jar and forgotten about. They end up in graded condition, meaning they're professionally examined and sealed in protective cases. Those high-graded pennies have been known to fetch up to $1.6 million at auctions. But don't get too carried away just yet. The chances of finding one of these pennies are slim, like really slim. But if you're ever looking through your change, keep your eyes peeled. After all, stranger things have happened. I once found a penny in my backyard that I thought was just a regular coin, until I learned it was a 1909 penny worth $100. Now, it wasn't worth millions, but hey, $100 from a backyard find isn't too shabby, right? So, let's say you do find one of these million-dollar pennies. What do you do next? How do you turn that lucky penny into actual cash? First, don't just go spinning it on coffee. You'll want to have the coin properly authenticated and graded by a professional. These are your first steps in ensuring that you're not getting duped or underselling yourself. After that, you can look at auction houses or even specialized dealers who focus on rare coins. The higher the grade, the higher the price you could fetch. It's kind of like the coin version of real estate. Location matters, and so does condition. You'll also want to do a little research. Knowing the current market value and staying updated on sales of similar coins can help you gauge how much you can get for your treasure. All right, let's wrap this up. The 2017 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is one of the coolest and most valuable errors to ever hit the coin market. But don't just go throwing away your change in the hopes of striking it rich. Coin collecting takes time, knowledge, and a little bit of luck. If you're serious about coin hunting and want to stay on top of the latest tips and strategies, hit that subscribe button below. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on more tricks that could make you a fortune or at least help you understand why your pocket change might be worth a lot more than you thought. And hey, if you've ever found a coin you thought was worth something, drop your story in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. Maybe you've got a hidden gem sitting in your collection right now. Thanks for watching and happy hunting. See you in the next video, where we'll dive into more rare coins and fun facts. All right, guys, I know what you're thinking. A penny? Worth over $1 million? Surely that's just clickbait. But hold on to your wallets, because this is not a drill. We're talking about the 1988 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and believe it or not, this little piece of history is fetching big bucks in today's market. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just go digging through your coin jar or your grandma's old change bowl for that hidden gem. Let's set the stage. It's 1988, and you're living your best life, probably wearing a fanny pack, listening to Bon Jovi, and getting those neon clothes out of the dryer. The penny? Well, it's just a penny. Nothing fancy. But hold up. What if I told you that some of these pennies have something extra special? Normally, US pennies have a little mint mark on the back. This mark tells us where the penny was produced. We've got D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and P for Philadelphia. So, what's the deal with the 1988 penny? Here's where the mystery kicks in. In 1988, for some bizarre reason, the US Mint made a handful of pennies that didn't have a mint mark. Now, it wasn't a mistake, exactly, but it was a rare production error, one that didn't make sense at the time. A mint markless penny? That was like finding a unicorn at a dog park. Now, let's get to the real reason you clicked on this video. How much are these pennies worth today? Believe it or not, some of these bad boys are worth up to $1.7 million. And I'm not talking about the shiny penny in your pocket worth. I'm talking about a rare, no mint mark, pristine condition penny that could get you a mansion or, at the very least, a pretty sweet vacation. Now, before you go all treasure hunter on me, let's clear something up. You won't find this kind of value just anywhere. These coins are rarer than a four-leaf clover in a field of dandelions. The penny needs to be in mint condition to reach that $1.7 million mark. That means no scratches, no wear, no little coffee stains from your morning cup. It needs to look like it came straight from a time machine. Listen, I know what you're thinking. I have a penny in my car cup holder that's been through a hurricane and probably been dropped in a puddle of ketchup. There's no way it's worth anything. And you're probably right. But hey, you never know until you look, right? If you do happen to find one of these pristine 1988 no-mint mark pennies, it's time to get serious about protecting it. Invest in a proper coin holder and, this is a pro tip, get it authenticated. Because without that certification, even a $1.7 million penny might just be worth, well, a penny. I'm not gonna lie, I've got a bit of a coin hoarding problem. A few years back, I thought I found a rare coin in my change jar. I mean, I was sure it was worth thousands, so I got all excited and started Googling. Turns out, it was just a state quarter from, like, 1999, worth a couple of bucks at most. I'm still paying off that I'm an expert humiliation to my wife. She was the first to point out that it wasn't as rare as I thought. Classic. Hey, we all have our moments, right? But hey, the lesson here is, never stop looking. You never know when you're gonna find a diamond in the rough. So, in summary, if you happen to come across a 1988 penny without a mint mark, you might be holding on to more than just a piece of copper. You could be looking at a future that's worth a lot of zeros on the price tag. But remember, it's gotta be in mint condition, and don't skip the certification process. If you love discovering hidden treasures in your pocket change, or you're just curious about how to make money from your coin collection, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm dropping new tips and strategies all the time to help you find those rare coins that could change your life. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. And who knows, the next time you're at a garage sale, you might just find that $1 million coin that's been hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching, and good luck hunting for your own fortune. Catch you in the next one. Coin lovers unite. So, you think that penny you've been holding onto for years is just, well, a penny? Think again. What if I told you that one very specific penny could be worth over $1.60 million? I know, you're probably thinking, yeah right, there's no way. But trust me, this is the real deal. Stick around and let me show you how a regular 1982 Lincoln penny could make you richer than you ever thought possible. You're not going to believe how this tiny coin has turned into a massive money-making machine. Alright, let's break it down. We're talking about the infamous 1982 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, I know what you're thinking. 1982? That's not even a rare year. What's so special about that? Well, folks, you're in for a treat. Here's the thing. In 1982, the U.S. Mint decided to change the way they made pennies. They started making them in two different ways, some with a mint mark and some without. But here's the twist. The ones with no mint mark, in some cases, are worth a fortune. The trick is, the ones without the mint mark are super rare, and not just rare in the, oh, I've got a penny from the 80s kind of way. No, I'm talking about get yourself a new house kind of rare. And it all comes down to that one tiny detail, that missing mint mark. Now, here's where it gets crazy. That simple omission, in some cases, can make your penny worth up to $1.60 million. I know that sounds insane, but it's true. There are collectors out there who would literally pay big bucks for this little coin. I mean, for the price of a cup of coffee, you could have a penny that could buy you, well, not a cup of coffee anymore. More like a brand new car. Or maybe even a small island if you're lucky. But here's the kicker. Finding one of these pennies isn't as easy as you might think. You could be sitting on a literal gold mine and not even know it. It all depends on how that penny was made back in '82. And the chances of finding one in circulation today? Well, let's just say they're pretty slim. You know, this reminds me of the time I went to my grandmother's house and started digging through a box of old coins she had kept for years. I thought I was going to find something cool, like a few dimes or maybe a 1940s penny, but instead, I found a whole lot of nothing. Turns out, there was this one box at the bottom of her closet that she had shoved way back behind some books, and when I opened it up, I couldn't believe what I saw. A bunch of old pennies, mostly from the 60s and 70s, not the jackpot I was hoping for. But here's the thing. I never checked for a mint mark, and that's the difference between maybe a couple bucks and a cool million. If I'd known about this, I would have gone through those coins with a fine-toothed comb. But hey, lesson learned. And it's why I'm sharing this with you now, because you don't want to make the same mistake I did and miss out on something worth a fortune. So, let's get serious for a second and talk about how to check if your penny's worth a ton of money. First things first, you need to look for the mint mark. On most pennies, there's a small D or an S near the base of the date. But in 1982, the U.S. Mint made some pennies without any mint mark at all. The mint mark usually tells you where the coin was made. D is for Denver, and S is for San Francisco. But for a select few pennies, no mint mark means big bucks. These coins are rare because the U.S. Mint wasn't supposed to make them without a mark, but somehow, a few slipped through the cracks. Now, when you're checking your pennies, make sure to use good lighting. I know it sounds boring, but trust me, you don't want to miss the chance of finding a penny that's worth more than a house. And while you're at it, check the weight too. If it feels different from your other pennies, it might be a sign it's not your average copper piece. So, there you have it. The 1982 no mint mark penny. A small coin, but a huge opportunity for you to make big money. While most pennies you find in your pocket are probably worth just 1 cent, there's always that one in a million that could be sitting in your change jar, just waiting to make you a small fortune. But hey, before you rush off to check your penny stash, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on more tips and tricks for finding valuable coins. And if you found this video helpful, go ahead and leave a like. Because who doesn't love discovering hidden treasures? And if you have a story of your own, maybe you found a coin worth a fortune, or you've been searching for that elusive mintless penny, share it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever held on to a penny for so long that you thought it might just be a lucky charm? Well, buckle up because this one's going to blow your mind. What if I told you that there's a penny from 2017 with a D mint mark that could potentially be worth $1.7 million? Yes, you heard me right. $1.7 million for a coin that's smaller than a chocolate chip. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know how to spot this little treasure in your spare change, and I'll share a funny story about how I almost tossed one of these bad boys in the trash. The backstory on the 2017 D mint mark penny. Alright, let's set the scene. The 2017 D penny. You probably see these guys all the time in your pocket, right? And maybe, just maybe, you've even thought about tossing them in a jar, thinking, it's just a penny. Big mistake, my friend. Let me tell you why. The thing about coins is that sometimes a small mistake or a rare error can turn an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. And the 2017 D penny, well, it's one of those rare exceptions. You see, this coin isn't just a regular penny. It's a modern-day gold mine, if you know where to look. What makes it so special? Well, some 2017 D pennies were struck with a unique error, making them highly sought after by collectors. These coins weren't minted like the rest of the batch. They had a slight, almost imperceptible flaw that gives them a huge price tag today. And that's how, folks, a penny that looks just like any other penny could be worth $1.70 million. What's the error? So, what's this error exactly? Well, in some cases, the 2017 D penny had a slight double die, meaning that there was an overimpression on the coin, which makes the features on it look a little off, like a shadow of the original image. This mistake is so rare that when one of these coins pops up at auction, collectors go absolutely wild. People pay insane prices for anything rare, and this penny is one of those rare gems. Now, I can already hear you asking, okay, so how do I know if I have one of these $1.7 million coins in my jar of pennies? Great question. Here's what you need to look for. Spotting the rare 2017 D penny first. You want to check the mint mark on your penny. Flip it over and find that little D on the reverse side of the coin. That's the first step. It's got to be the 2017 penny with the D mint mark. If it doesn't have that, we're in a different ballpark here. Next, the real trick is spotting the error. You'll want to look at Abraham Lincoln's portrait and see if there's any doubling or ghost images on the lettering around it. You can also check for any abnormal shifts in the design, especially around the date or the mint mark. If you've got a penny with these imperfections, congrats, you might just be sitting on a gold mine. The value boom now. You might be thinking, all right, I've got one of these pennies. Do I need to call the news? Maybe. The market value of these 2017 D pennies with the error has skyrocketed. Coins that look like they've got this double die or other imperfections have sold for over $1 million at auction. Yes, a penny, a freaking penny, could sell for $1 million. I mean, who knew that something so small could pack such a big punch, right? Just because you find one doesn't mean it's instantly worth a fortune. These pennies are valuable only if they're in great condition and if they've got that perfect, rare error. So, if you find one, don't just rush out and sell it. You want to make sure you've got a legitimate coin before you start dreaming about retiring early. Now, speaking of dreams, let me share a funny story. Years ago, I had a huge jar of pennies that I kept tossing into my garage for literally years. I didn't think twice about it. Pennies are pennies, right? Well, one day, I finally decided it was time to clean out that jar. I was about to throw them all into a coin sorting machine at the bank when I decided to pull out a few I thought looked a little off. You know, just in case. So, I kept a few. After a bit of research, it turns out those few pennies could have been worth a ton of money. One of them was a 2017 D penny with a double die error. And, naturally, I kicked myself for not spotting it earlier. Moral of the story? Always check your coins, because you never know when one could be worth a fortune. Oh, there you have it. A 2017 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny with a double die error could potentially be worth $1.7 million. That's right. A tiny coin could change your life forever, but only if you know what to look for. Now, I'm not saying you should start going through every penny in your pocket, but if you've got a jar full of change, it might be time to do a little detective work and see if you've got a hidden gem. Before you go, make sure to subscribe to this channel for more tips on coins that could make you a millionaire. I've got tons of videos planned to help you find hidden treasures in your everyday change, so hit that bell icon to stay updated. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Ever found a penny on the sidewalk and thought, hey, that could be worth something? Well, what if I told you that one particular penny, just one, could be worth a whopping $1.80 million? Yep, you heard that right. Stick around because today, we're diving into the world of the 2018 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and trust me, you're going to want to check your change after this video. And no, this isn't a get-rich-quick scam. This is the real deal. But how does this tiny, copper coin turn into something worth more than a luxury car? We're about to break it all down. Okay, so let's start with the basics. The 2018 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. It sounds pretty standard, right? I mean, we've all seen these pennies. Most of us probably hundreds of times. And let's be honest, when's the last time you got excited about a penny? I know I sure didn't, until I found out about this one. Most pennies from 2018 are worth exactly 1 cent. But what makes this specific one different? It's all about rarity. It's a special kind of penny, and you'd need to be lucky enough to find one in your pocket change. The 2018 D Mint Mark penny has something called a double die error. Essentially, when the coin was being minted, the die, that's the tool used to stamp the image onto the penny, was struck twice in the same spot. This causes the image of Abraham Lincoln's portrait to appear doubled. But not just any doubling. This is some serious, high-quality stuff. You can literally see a second layer of Lincoln's beard, nose, and even the text around the coin. It's like getting a bonus copy of Lincoln, but you're not paying extra for it. Now, how rare is it? Well, that's where things get interesting. Only a handful of these pennies with the error are known to exist. And guess what? One of them was sold at auction for an eye-watering $1.80 million. That's more than the price of most brand-new cars combined. Now, I don't know about you, but that got my attention. But let's get real for a minute. How likely is it that you're going to stumble across a $1.8 million penny in your spare change? Well, probably not that likely. But here's the thing, it's still possible. And the good news is, there are ways to check if you've got one of these rare pennies hiding in your collection. First thing you'll want to do is check for the doubled features on Lincoln's face, his beard, and the lettering around the coin. You'll also want to examine the mint mark itself, right under the date. If it's the D mint mark, that's where you'll want to focus your attention. Trust me, if you find one of these bad boys, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Imagine just casually going through your spare change at home and bam, you find one. What would you even do with $1.8 million? I'd probably buy a new car, or two, maybe a house in the mountains. But hey, one can dream, right? Now, let's talk about why this penny is worth so much. It's all about the rarity and the fact that collectors are willing to pay big money for these types of errors. Collectors who are really into this stuff know the value of finding a coin that's different, something that only a few others have. And that's why the price tag shoots up into the millions. Now, before you start running to your coin jar and going through every penny you own, just remember, it's pretty unlikely you'll find a $1.8 million coin just laying around. But hey, you never know. Coin collecting is all about finding those hidden gems that could be worth something more than their face value. And if you're new to the coin game, don't worry. This is just one of many incredible stories in the world of rare coins. If you're interested in learning more about which coins are worth money, how to spot them, and what kind of strategies will help you grow your collection, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Because trust me, you won't want to miss out on these tips. Who knows? The next coin you find could be the one that makes you rich. And hey, if you've got any cool coin stories or questions, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. All right, folks, keep your eyes peeled, keep collecting, and keep hustling for those rare coins. Catch you next time. Who knows what we'll find next? What if I told you that a penny you probably have lying around in your drawer could be worth a ton of money? We're talking about a single penny from 1979, and not just any penny. This one could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Yeah, you heard that right. A coin that weighs less than a paperclip and costs about as much as a pack of gum could be worth more than your car. Stick around because I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about this 1979 no mint mark penny and how you might be holding on to a small fortune without even realizing it. Let's talk about the 1979 no mint mark penny. I know, you're probably wondering, what the heck is a no mint mark penny? Well, a mint mark is a tiny letter on your coin that tells you where it was made. Usually, you'll find it right next to the date on the front of the coin. For example, a D means it was minted in Denver, an S means it came from San Francisco, and so on. But the 1979 no mint mark penny? Now, I'm not saying you should go digging through all your pennies from 1979 like you're on some sort of treasure hunt. But if you happen to find one, you might want to hold on to it. Why? Because this little guy could be worth more than just pocket change. A penny that was made in very limited numbers with no mint mark is considered a key date coin. And these are the coins that collectors go crazy for. Here's where the story gets interesting. In 2019, a rare 1979 no-mint mark penny sold for a whopping $1.8 million. I mean, come on. Imagine pulling that out of your jar of loose change. The buyer must have been doing a little victory dance right in the middle of the auction. So, what makes this coin so valuable? It's not just the rarity. The condition of the coin plays a huge part too. You see, the 1979 no-mint mark penny is rare, but it's even more special when it's in mint condition. And when I say mint, I don't mean fresh from the mint. I mean top-notch condition. No scratches, no wear and tear. Looking like it just came off the minting press yesterday. Coins like that are gold in the world of collectors, and they can sell for astronomical prices. Let me tell you a quick story to drive this point home. A few years ago, I was at a coin show. Big surprise, right? I was just casually flipping through some old pennies when I came across a 1979 penny that looked almost perfect. I'll admit, I wasn't really thinking it would be worth much. I mean, it's just a penny, right? So, I tossed it into a box and honestly, I forgot about it for months. One day, I want to clean out some old stuff and bam, I saw that penny again. I took a second look, did some research, and realized it could be worth way more than $1. Sadly, I didn't get a cool $1.8 million for it, but it definitely taught me to be way more careful about what I'm keeping around. Okay, so now that you know about this $1 million penny, let's talk about why this matters. You see, rare coins like the 1979 no-mint mark penny don't just appear out of thin air. They are found by people like you and me who happen to notice something special. It's all about having the right eye for the little things. And I've got to say, the thrill of finding something rare, whether it's in your pocket change or buried in your collection, is just unbeatable. They don't realize how valuable even the smallest, most humble coins can be. Sure, you might think a penny is just a penny, but when you start digging deeper into the world of coin collecting, you start to see the potential. That's why you should always pay attention to the details. And trust me, you don't have to be a professional numismatist to start finding coins that are worth something. With just a little bit of knowledge and curiosity, you could be holding on to coins that are worth far more than their face value. All right, folks, I think you're ready to start hunting down those valuable pennies. Remember, the 1979 no-mint mark penny could be sitting in your collection right now, and you might not even know it. But if you want to make sure you're not missing out on hidden treasures, you've got to keep an eye out for these rare coins. If you want more tips on coins that are worth big money, strategies for finding valuable coins, and all kinds of other cool insights into the world of collecting, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Don't miss out on the next great discovery. I'll be here sharing all the knowledge and fun stories to help you on your coin collecting journey. And hey, if you've ever found a coin that turned out to be worth more than you thought, drop a comment below. I love hearing these stories. Who knows, you might just inspire the next big find. Let me ask you a quick question. What's the most you've ever found in your change? A few bucks? Maybe a rare silver coin? Well, what if I told you that there's a penny out there that's worth a jaw-dropping $1 million? Yeah, you heard me right, 1 million. Now, I know you're probably thinking, come on, this guy's pulling my leg. But stick with me, because I'm about to share the story of the 2006 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and trust me, you won't believe the crazy value it's carrying these days. But before we get started, grab a snack, kick back, and let's dive into this wild world of rare coins. Oh, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because after today, you're going to want to be in the know about which pennies in your pocket could actually turn into a small fortune. Alright, so here's the deal. The 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is not your average pocket change. No, it's not the penny you find under your couch cushions or at the bottom of your washing machine. This particular penny, my friend, is an anomaly. It's like the unicorn of the coin world. And let me explain why. In 2006, the US Mint was cranking out pennies with the usual mint marks, either the D for Denver or the P for Philadelphia. But for some weird reason, a handful of pennies that year were stamped with no mint mark at all. Think of it as the oops coin that slipped through the cracks. Now, keep in mind, this wasn't supposed to happen. The mint marks are important because they tell you where the coin was produced. The mint marks on these pennies were like the autograph of a famous artist. They proved where and when it was made. And here's the kicker. These no mint mark pennies are incredibly rare. Like Finding a needle in a haystack rare. How rare, you ask? Well, experts believe that there were fewer than 10 of these bad boys made. So, imagine having one of these tucked away in a jar of loose change. If you're lucky enough to find one, you could be holding on to a coin that could fetch you up to $1 million at auction. But I don't have a 2006 penny with no mint mark, so I guess I'm out of luck. Hold your horses. Don't go spinning your 2006 pennies just yet. You might want to take a second look at any 2006 pennies you come across. The good news is that some of these missing mint mark pennies have already been found in circulation, and the prices for these coins are climbing like crazy. So if you've got a 2006 penny laying around, it's worth checking out if it's one of the rare ones. Now, don't go running off to the nearest coin dealer just yet, though. You'll need to make sure that your penny has been properly authenticated by a professional. You see, there are a lot of look-alike pennies out there, and not all of them are worth $1 million. A professional grading service, like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, can authenticate and grade your coin so you know exactly what you've got in your hands. Let me tell you a quick story. A while back, I was going through some old jars of coins that had been collecting dust in my garage for years. I found a whole bunch of pennies from the 80s, 90s, and even a few from the 2000s. I honestly wasn't expecting much until I found a 2006 penny with no mint mark. I nearly had a heart attack when I realized what it could be worth. I rushed to my local coin dealer, who confirmed it was the real deal. That little penny ended up being worth more than the car I drive. No joke. And that's exactly why I'm here, folks. If you've got old change lying around, don't just toss it in a jar and forget about it. Take a moment to check out your coins, because you never know when you'll find something that could change your financial future. It doesn't just stop at pennies either. Coins from the 1800s, limited edition mint runs, and rare errors are out there, just waiting for the right person to find them. And it could be you. Check your 2006 pennies for that missing mint mark. If you've got one of the rare no mint mark pennies, you could be holding onto a coin worth $1 million. But even if you don't throw away your change just yet. There are tons of valuable coins hiding in plain sight, and I'm here to help you find them. Before you run off to dig through your coin jar, or maybe check your pockets again, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more tips, tricks, and insider info on coins that could make you rich. We'll cover everything from rare finds to coin collecting strategies, and who knows, the next $1 million coin might be in your pocket. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and happy coin hunting. All right, folks, let's get right into it. Imagine this. You're digging through a jar of loose change, maybe finding some old pennies, and you pull out one that catches your eye. It's a 1973 penny. Probably not worth much, right? Well, what if I told you that one of these little guys, a 1973 penny, no mint mark, could be worth, drumroll, $2 million? Yep, you heard that right. And no, I'm not pulling your leg. Stick around, because I'm about to show you how a penny that most people overlook could change your life. Now, before you go scouring your wallet and running out to buy up every penny you can find, let me tell you how this works. You've got to know what to look for, and trust me, this little coin's got more to it than meets the eye. Grab your magnifying glasses and let's dive into the wild world of rare coins. So, you may be wondering, why on earth would a regular, everyday penny from 1973 be worth $2 million? Well, first, let me hit you with a little background knowledge. A mint mark, you know, that little letter on the coin that tells you where it was made? Most coins, including pennies, have one of those little marks. In 1973, for instance, you'd usually find a D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But here's the kicker. The 1973 penny without a mint mark? That's a rarity. Now, I know what you're thinking. No mint mark? Is that it? And the answer is yes, but also no. You see, the 1973 penny with no mint mark is considered one of those error coins. Back in the day, there were some mix-ups at the mint, and a batch of pennies went into circulation without any mint mark at all. The ones that survived are now rare collector's items. And I mean rare. Think about it. You could have a coin that's been sitting around in a drawer or jar for decades, going unnoticed, when in reality, it's worth a fortune. Kind of like that time I found an old pair of sneakers in my attic that turned out to be worth more than my car. Okay, that might be an exaggeration, but you get my point, right? Sometimes, things get hidden in plain sight. While most 1973 pennies are worth, well, maybe 1 or 2 cents, not much more than the price of a snack from a vending machine, that one without a mint mark, it could go for up to $2 million in today's market. How's that for a lucky find? Now, before you get too excited, not every 1973 penny without a mint mark is worth $2 million. The condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. We're talking about uncirculated, pristine coins here. If it's been through the ringer, rubbed against keys in your pocket, or worse, tossed in a mud puddle, its value goes down. A lot down. To give you an idea, the most valuable 1973 no-mint mark penny that sold for this kind of money was in mint condition, practically untouched by human hands. These coins are often found in collections, sometimes from lucky investors or coin hunters who know exactly what to look for. But don't let that discourage you. Even if your penny isn't worth $2 million, it could still be worth hundreds or thousands. And trust me, that's nothing to sneeze at. If you ever find yourself staring at a 1973 penny with no mint mark, or really any old coin, don't just toss it aside. Take a second to check it out. Heck, dust off that magnifying glass you've had sitting in your drawer for years. You never know. You could be holding onto a hidden treasure. If you're still with me, you're probably wondering what's next. Well, my friend, if you want to learn more about rare coins, valuable finds, and tips on how to spot coins worth serious cash, hit that subscribe button and join the coin hunting crew. Because I've got more tips, tricks, and stories to share. And who knows? Maybe your next pocket change could be worth a fortune, or at least enough for a nice dinner. Either way, you won't want to miss out. Thanks for watching, and remember, when it comes to coins, sometimes the smallest things are the most valuable. You're rummaging through a pile of loose change, just another typical day of penny pinching, when boom, you spot a penny that looks a little different. Maybe the date's off, or the mint mark's missing entirely. Now, you're thinking, nah, it's probably just an old penny, right? But wait, what if I told you that 2009 penny you just found could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.90 million? Yep, you heard me right. And no, it's not some late-night infomercial pitch. I'm serious, so grab your magnifying glass and your sense of curiosity, because today we're diving deep into the world of the 2009 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that might just turn your loose change into big bucks. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be checking your couch cushions a little more often. Alright, let's set the scene here. It's 2009. The world's still buzzing from the excitement of the new millennium, and the US Mint is cranking out pennies with the enthusiasm of a coffee-fueled intern. The U.S. Treasury decides to mark the 200th birthday of Abraham Lincoln by issuing a series of 4 different reverse designs, each celebrating a key moment in Lincoln's life. They were meant to be special, something a little different from your average penny, but here's where things take a twist. These pennies, designed to honor Lincoln, were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Normally, pennies produced in Denver or San Francisco would have a mint mark, a little letter showing where it was made. But for some reason, just for the Philadelphia Mint, they didn't put a mint mark on the 2009 pennies. I know what you're thinking. Why does this matter? It's just a little letter, right? Well, that tiny detail makes all the difference in the world. You see, this missing mint mark is rare, and it turns out rare things are worth money. A lot of money. In fact, some of these no mint mark 2009 pennies have been known to sell for millions. Yep. $1.9 million is the big ticket value of one of these bad boys. So, what makes this penny so valuable? First, the rarity factor. Only a few of these pennies were released into circulation without the mint mark. Because of that, collectors are hunting them down like a group of kids at a candy store. Now, I can hear you asking, but how do I even know if I've got one of these? Well, here's the trick. Check the date 2009 and check for a mint mark. If it's not there, you've got yourself a potential treasure. Now, the value of this penny doesn't just come from the mint mark being missing. It's also about the condition. If your penny looks like it's been through a paper shredder, you probably won't get the big bucks. But if you've got a penny in pristine condition, that's when you've really struck gold. Well, gold-colored copper, but you get the idea. I had a personal experience with this not too long ago. I was cleaning out an old jar of pennies my grandma had been hoarding for years. The ones you always find tucked in a drawer somewhere. Now, I wasn't expecting anything crazy. I figured they were just the usual run-of-the-mill pennies. But then, one penny caught my eye. It didn't have a mint mark. At first, I thought it was just some weird error, a mistake from the factory floor. But after doing some digging, literally and figuratively, I realized it was a 2009 no mint mark penny. I mean, I was this close to fainting. I rushed over to the computer, Googled it, and started hyperventilating. But then, I took a step back and thought, wait, even if it's not worth $1 million, it's still a pretty cool find. Even if you don't stumble upon the $1.9 million jackpot, finding a rare coin like this could still net you a pretty nice chunk of change. So, always keep an eye out. Alright, so now that you know how to spot a 2009 no mint mark penny and understand why it's worth so much, here's the real question. What are you going to do with that newfound knowledge? Well, hopefully, it means you're off to go dig through your coin jar, check your change, and start hunting for those rare finds. Because who knows? You might just be the next one to make a small fortune from a piece of copper. Before you run off to start your treasure hunt, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You'll want to stay tuned for more tips on coins worth money and strategies that'll help you build your own collection that could pay off big time. I mean, think about it. If you found one of these pennies, imagine what other gems might be hiding in your pocket change. So, go ahead, smash that subscribe button, like this video if you enjoyed the wild ride, and drop a comment below telling me about the coolest coin you've ever found. Thanks for watching, and may your next penny turn into $1 million treasure.